Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. Melanie Chandra, so congratulations. You got a movie, a TV show, you're a busy lady. Let's start with the movie.
Sure. So this was a movie that was a labor of love, I would say. It's a passion project for the filmmaker and the writer, and I was very honored to be a part of it.
And it's a topic that is incredibly relevant right now. Obviously, immigration is an enormous conversation happening all through America. And this movie tackles it in such a way because we're dealing with a person who is trying to do good for himself, but he may not be allowed to stay in the country, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, I think the story is about belonging to wanting to stay in a country where there's so much opportunity, but they don't allow you to stay if you really want it, or going back home where your family is, but you might not be able to pursue exactly what you dreamed of.
Do you do a movie like this and start looking at the immigration issue from a different standpoint?
Sure, I think the movie looks at it from different lenses. So, for example, you get behind the lens of the people that are actually going through these issues. And then my character doesn't understand it. So I think it's a lens of all other Americans that don't understand what their fellow immigrant, their neighbor, or their coworker are going through.
You're also on a hit show. I was talking to your co-star, Marcia Gay Harden,
You were?
recently. Yes, for 50 Shades Darker.
Amazing.
She's the
Okay.
nicest lady, by the way,
Love
isn't she?
her.
What an actress, too.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Why do you think people like this show so much?
I think it's a celebration of the human spirit. I think people can watch every episode and find a piece of themselves up there. It's deeply emotional. And so you go on a journey, and I think it's very exciting for people to watch.
People love medical procedurals, too.
Yeah,
It's
why
like
is that?
I'm telling you, like if it started, I feel like it started with ER, then Grey's Anatomy, then your show, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you can make any doctor show and people are gonna watch. I feel like.
I feel like the last thing is people should make a show about aliens in hospitals. I mean, you've explored so many different sides of medical dramas. I think that's the last horizon.
Your character on the show, she's a go-getter as well, but she's
Yeah.
quiet about it. Like she's driven, but I feel like she doesn't do it like the way I would do it. Like I'm a type A, so I'd be like, I want to be the boss. She's very driven and quiet, right?
Yeah, she's confident. She knows exactly what she's meant to know, and she's a leader. And so she doesn't need to project that. She doesn't need to show off. She's just resilient and quiet, and she's a survivor. She was sexually assaulted in the first season, and I think that was a devastating experience for her, but it only made her stronger.
Obviously, you're Indian American. She's Indian American. She also is a lesbian on the show, so she's a very diverse character, and
Yep.
I don't know that we would see a character like this on television maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Isn't it great that we can see this type of character now?
It's amazing. What was interesting, though, is the character wasn't originally supposed to be Indian. So that just shows that casting and directors or writers are more open to seeing diversity on the screens.
And she's from Stanford, like you.
Yeah, I think
I love the write-ins. I
I
love
think
when
they
the
wrote-
write-ins happen.
I think they just wrote that in after they figured that out. And they actually used Benjamin Hollingsworth. He played hockey in real life, and they incorporated that into his backstory as well for his character.
So what do you like doing more? Being on a network TV show or doing a timely indie like For Here to Go?
I want to do it all. Is
that-
that too much?
I mean, the typical actress answer is, I just want to work, but
It's not work. I just want to work on meaningful projects. I mean, I get a lot of meaning through Code Black, and then just working on something that's so timely and has the potential to create an impact is really inspiring to me.
isn't it great when you make a movie like this and it is culturally relevant? Doesn't it make it more satisfying to know this is a topic that's being talked about today and people might watch this movie and actually look at the world differently?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it just promotes human empathy. And I think that is the mission. That should be the mission of all media, mass media out there, is just to evoke understanding from other people.
I've had actors and actresses in here over the last 2 weeks from every race, nationality that you can imagine. I even had an actor in here who goes by they and them because they are gender non-binary, the first on television. And I've been asking everybody.
Interesting.
It's incredible. And it's Asia K. Dillon on Billions. Incredible role, by the way. But
I love that show.
yeah,
And
so
I love that character.
Taylor.
Yes.
Taylor was in your
so
seat.
amazing.
Yeah.
I was thinking exactly what you're thinking, but it's the first time seeing a character like that. And it's brilliant. So brilliant.
What do you think about diversity on television?
I think there's still a long way to go, but it's happening, and I'm excited about that. And I just think it needs to reflect what's happening around us. Like, I grew up in the Midwest, clearly Indian American, surrounded by a lot of white people. But when I see a role that's written for an American girl next door, it doesn't have to be blonde and blue-eyed. I was that girl next door. And so I think people are starting to see that, but it needs to be a little bit more reflective of what's happening. I mean, you look at LA and New York, it's just so diverse.
It's a melting pot.
It's a melting pot.
Nobody looks like me. You walk down the street, I'm like, who's that goofy tall white guy? Forget it. Did you have fears growing up because of your nationality that you would have trouble once you decided you wanted to be an actress, that you might have trouble finding work?
You know, everyone told me that. They said, don't get pigeonholed into all these stereotypical Indian roles. And I said, sure, that might happen, but I'm not going to let it happen. So I just made sure that whoever was representing me as an agent or manager understood what my goals were. And I wouldn't just be seen as a brown person.
I want to talk about Marcia Gay Harden because I love her to death. And when you get to work with, honestly, one of the best actresses in this business, she's done it all from blockbusters to indies to major television. What do you take away from an experience like that?
I've just learned so much from her. She's just effortless. Just being in her presence in a scene, you don't have to even try to act. She just pulls it out of you. And what's amazing about her is she's so gracious. She's so gracious on set with her coworkers, and she's just so generous. And I've learned a lot about how to carry myself on set and how to treat everyone else. She is just a class act. That's what I would say. Marcia Gay Harden is a class act.
Congratulations on both projects.
Thank you.
Make sure to check out Melanie Chandra in her new movie For Here to Go, and also on CBS's Code Black.